So what's under the hood of this car? This car originally arrived stock. It had an LS2 engine, still does, which is a 6-liter, and it's a great engine for a daily driver like this. I wanted just a little bit more, so what I did is I ended up removing the LS2 intake and the 243 cylinder heads, the stock cylinder heads for an LS2 engine. I've upgraded the valve train with dual platinum springs from Brian Tooley and a camshaft from SDPC race shop. That would be the LS9 Power Max camshaft, and I think it's a wonderful camshaft for my purposes. I wanted a daily driver that is very stealthy, passenger friendly, but when you put the hammer down, I wanted something that delivers, and it definitely did that. Even though that's not the intended purpose of that camshaft. It's definitely a camshaft for supercharged applications, but it worked really good in this naturally aspirated application. I have no hesitation, no stalling concerns, no excessive noise. It's just perfect. I think it should have come from the factory like this. It does wonders. And I've upgraded the cylinder heads to the LSA cylinder heads from the second generation V2. Just bought 2 new cylinder heads and sent them straight to Cadillac in Clinton Township here in Michigan. They did their magic on it. They CNC'd them, and I took the opportunity also to upgrade the lifters with Cadillac Johnson lifters, and the oil pump went with a Melling 10295 high pressure oil pump. Did a few things here and there. I ceramic coated the exhaust manifolds and the shields, and I think that did really good for bringing down the under hood temperatures. And while I was doing that, I upgraded the air intake to a Volant unit. I really like the enclosed aspect of it, although I think Volant could have done a better job on the lid. It was a little bit low quality, and the alignment of the hose is not so good. Maybe one day I'll replace it with a metal piece. That would be much better, I think. Although nearly impossible to tell from stock idle, but the performance is there, and I will be sharing the dyno graphs from Cadillac later on. The transmission is not stock. The previous unit lost reverse, so I took opportunity of that to replace it with a rebuilt unit by RPM Transmission in Indiana. I've had them put custom ratios in it, so it would be 2.66 first gear, 0.5 fifth gear. Those are the major changes in the ratios, and I think that really works great because your highway RPM drops significantly. At 80 miles an hour, I'm pushing like maybe in 1890 RPM, 1900. I think that's great, especially for long hauls. Yeah, that works wonders, and it does good for the gas mileage too. As far as clutch, I went with the Cadillac LS9X, which would be the C6ZR1 clutch that has been adapted for engines like the LS2 and the LS3 and so forth. Aesthetically, you have a CTS Sport Grille up front with CTS-V fog lights. You have original stock headlamps with 6K Philips HID bulbs, 6K LED high beam, 6K markers. Looks great on this car. I love the sports grille a lot. Now, some people don't. I definitely do. What happens is you have the base grille, which is, this isn't that base grille. It's basically a wall of plastic. You have the V1 grille. It's basically a wall of steel mesh. I think this is a happy medium. Yeah, mesh and plastic can coexist, and this is the proof. It looks beautiful. GM used this on the CTS Sport, and I definitely thought those cars looked nice. So here you go. Moving on to the side, we have depot tinted markers. They look much better than a VHD job, that's for sure, because the plastic itself has a bit of a gray tone. So these work great. I love them. We have stock 18-inch V1 wheels. Yes, that's 6-bolt pattern. 6x115 is the pattern, if you're wondering. Wearing General Tire G-Max AS05 high performance all-season tires. Given that this is Michigan and all, definitely can get away with summer tires when the temperatures drop here a bit. But I do not drive this car in the snow or salt, so that's a no-no for this car. And you get Brembo calipers up front, wearing power stop carbon ceramic brake pads, which is fantastic for a straight setup. This is my daily driver. Have no complaints about these pads. I've been driving for the past 20,000 miles, so good pads. As far as badges goes, the original badges were faded badly, just like every other stock V1 badge out there. So I just decided to move the badge up a bit and change it to a V3 badge. I think works much nicer. It has a little bit of a texture to it, and they last longer than the stock badges. Now, as far as the rear goes, just this badge has been replaced as well, and the taillight has been replaced with a depot unit tinted LED taillight. I love this taillight. It works great. It looks factory, and it mimics the second generation CTS taillight. I did not install a spoiler on this car because I just think it looked very clean, and it did not feel like it needed it. But you know, the flush CTS Sport spoiler is definitely beautiful. So I have another CTS that has it, but this one I just decided to keep it a bit factory looking. Although I did paint the top of the third brake light a shade of gray that matches the gray grille I have up front, and I think it works great. Looks much better than faded red plastic that a lot of these tail lights end up looking like. I did tint the reverse lights a bit, just because I thought it was a bit too white. And in the back we have MagnaFlow CTS V1 mufflers from their catback kit. However, I installed them onto my stock exhaust system because I thought that was a great compromise, because the stock resonator does a fantastic job. If you put an X-pipe on there, you'll definitely detect more noises in the interior. So I decided to use the stock resonator, but with the V1 mufflers in the back from the MagnaFlow kit, and I think it's a perfect middle ground, that's for sure. That brings us to the conclusion of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, the interior and exterior overview, and the talk about the modifications. I've done a few videos this summer that I've uploaded to the channel as well. Some acceleration videos, some exhaust note clips, and other miscellaneous videos. So definitely throw me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video so I can make you some more. And I think this car is definitely a unique breed. You don't find much in the way of a manual transmission car. There's 4 doors with rear-wheel drive and a V8 up front, and also, oh, you want a space in the back for kids on car seats and whatnot. Yeah, that's definitely a unique breed, and I think these cars should be appreciated for what they were, especially that they were probably designed in the early 2000s, and we still try to keep them going. So for now, I'm gonna enjoy this beautiful fall afternoon and hope that the snow doesn't come anytime soon here in Michigan, because when the snow comes, salt follows, and definitely that's a time when I take my vehicle off the road so it doesn't start to rust or anything like that. But thanks guys for watching.